the call.
So I got a sore throat.
What's it feel like, the fact that this week is finally here and you guys can really have a chance to achieve your goal?
It's exciting for us, and I'm sure every team that's traveling to El Paso. It's a wide open event. It's going to be extremely competitive. It ought to be a great tournament.
Coach, you talk about how wide open it is. The top of this conference all year has been just nip and tuck, and I mean a four-way tie for first proves it.
Yeah.
Do you think that those four teams are really, when you add UTEP as the fifth, that those are really are maybe the favorites?
Oh, it'd be hard to argue with saying that those five aren't the favorites, but two others that jump to mind are the two potential teams that we're going to play. You know, and UAB and Charlotte, and how talented they are, and how good they are. You know, they have 5 or 6 high major wins between the two of those two teams. They're both extremely capable. I wouldn't just say it's 4 or 5. You know, it's 6, 7, maybe 8 teams that have a chance. It ought to be exciting.
When you look at the host team in UTEP, their depth has got to be a concern for them, and you got to smile when you think about their depth. They really play, what, about 7 players total, and they're going to have to play as many games as they are if they want to get to the final?
Oh, Jay Ford, I hadn't thought about UTEP in so long. You know, I guess when you do think about them, I'm not sure that they're as deep as a couple other teams that will play, but they do have 3 all-league guys, and obviously Coach Floyd's won 1 million games, and they're on their home floor. They're going to be, of course, one of the favorites. They're going to be hard to beat on their home floor in the tournament.
So maybe that kind of depth goes out the window whenever you think about the home floor?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's positives and negatives. You know, that things outweigh each other themselves. For us right now, it's all about these two potential matchups with us, UAB and Charlotte. Both talented, both deep enough to beat us, both capable enough to beat us for sure. Both will be very prepared. They'll both come off the experience where they'll play in that environment, on that court the night before, and we'll be coming off not having played in a while. But then you would hope late second half that we would have the edge in terms of legs, which you know, might, I guess, bring the balance back as they'll have the edge in terms of experience and rhythm, you know, at the tip. So at the end of the day, it's conference tournament time. It's you know, a lot of things are thrown out the window. I think it's going to be a bunch of teams in El Paso playing their hearts out, just trying to advance.
What does it take to navigate through a tournament like this? You know, you have to win a game and then let that aside and play the next day and win again. So what does it take to just make it through a tournament like this?
You know, we talked about 3 in 3 days last year, Ron, and we're not going there this year. We're not worried about the tournament per se. We're worried about that first game. We're worried about winning Thursday night, and that's it. That is it. We know that UAB or Charlotte, whoever it is going to be a tall task for us. We had to play very well to beat Charlotte here. They've beaten some really good teams. We defended our butts off, it seemed like, I don't know, a week or 2 ago whenever we played at UAB. In some ways it seems like yesterday, in some ways it seems like a month ago when we were in Birmingham. But they had their chances against us as well. We'll have to make some adjustments, whoever it is, whether it's Charlotte or UAB, and we'll have to try to be better than we were, because we know that with film in hand, both those teams will be better versus us. And if we happen to win Thursday night, we'll worry about the next one. We'll have enough prep time because it's all equal. You know, the team, if we're fortunate enough to advance, our opponent will have the same amount of prep time for us. It's just one at a time.
The UTSA game, or just is that something you guys just let go from last season, or something that's on your mind, or?
Yeah, I think I'd be lying too if I told you that in the back of our heads we didn't think about last year's WAC tournament. I mean, we talked all year about 3 in 3 days, and I guess if we did go at it the wrong way, who knows? UTSA was just better than us that night. But if we learn one thing from it, one thing that we're definitely trying to be different at, it's the fact that we're not looking at the tournament as a package. We're not looking at it as we have to prepare for game 2, or who would we play in game 3 if we played this team or that team. None of that even matters. We know we're going to have to play very well to win on game 1. You in game one, and to make it to day two, you better win game one, and it's that simple for us right now.
How much stock do you put into the previous wins this year against UAB and Charlotte?
We'll put some stock into both games for sure. You know, we've already watched those films more than once, and I'm sure like those guys have watched against each other in preparation for their game against each other. It's what all these coaches throughout the league are doing, head coaches, assistant coaches, and you have to take a lot from the games. That said, you have to predict adjustments offensively and defensively, and you try to show your guys some of the strengths, some of the things that we can take from those wins, some things we did really well. But again, we'll have to be better in some areas just to make sure we give ourselves the best chance possible to advance.
Without giving too much away, have you kind of figured out how you want to weave Raheem back into the lineup now that you got a couple more games under his belt?
Not really. Still evaluating him day to day. He's coming off a pretty good practice a couple days ago. Yesterday we gave our guys off, knowing that Thursday is going to be taxing and we have a long trip. We wanted to be pretty similar to the way we've done our weekly, organization of practices throughout the year. So gave him off yesterday after he had a very good practice on Saturday. Thursday we'll go with the same starting lineup. You know, we finished the year pretty strong, and we'll really just take it 1 minute at a time, one timeout at a time. And Raheem will definitely play in the first half, and we'll just make some decisions on the fly, really based more on anything else on production by Raheem and production by the other wings that are out there.
Coach, when you look at the all-conference teams, you had Speedy, first team, and Alex, third team.
Yeah.
Did you think any of your other guys maybe deserve to be there?
Yeah, I feel like Chris Anderson got slighted a little bit. I feel like he was deserving to be recognized as an all-league guy. He, in my mind, he's an all-conference USA caliber guy, especially if there's 3 teams. That said, if you ask me who would you take off the list of those top 15 guys, I'm not sure I could name a guy either. I think that there were a lot of deserving guys. Really good teams, really talented league, 16 teams. I mean, there are a bunch of good players in Conference USA this year. I would have liked to seen Chris Anderson's name on that list next to Speedy and Alex's.
You always mention just valuing possessions in basketball in general, but does that have an increased sense of urgency in a tournament like this?
Yeah, I think everything is magnified a little bit, Ron. It's a good question. Every possession is so important. I think teams in conference tournaments and as they move on to postseason play, hold on a little bit tighter, you know, offensively and defensively. I remember the last couple of years with this group, we've had less possessions in postseason, and every possession is extremely important. You want to get a great shot, turning that ball over just puts yourself in peril, allowing the opposition to get out in transition offensively. So for our offense and for our defense, valuing the basketball in El Paso will be huge.
Does it help you guys out that you've played in that building before already this season?
If we went down there and won, I'd say it definitely helped. Either way, it's conference tournament. I'm not sure if it helps or not. I know if you're playing, if whoever's playing UTEP on that floor, I better bring it, because they're a very, very good team, obviously, and when they're playing in front of their rowdy fans, they're even better. It's a great environment. It's a good atmosphere, and we're excited to be there.
I'm honestly not trying to be controversial with this question, but would you prefer to see it on a neutral site than you would on somebody's home court?
I'm timing my sip on this one. I prefer to see it on our floor in the TAC. It's just I don't even know all the details. I don't know what these decisions are based upon. I'm not intelligent enough. I just know we got to try to win Thursday night. There's a reason, obviously. It's in El Paso. It's a nice town. It's a great facility. I'm sure it'll draw really well. We're just, I guess, doing the best we can with the opportunity in front of us.
Earlier in the season, you talked about how you kept up with RPIs and whatnot. At this point, I know you're focused on the conference tournament, but have you completely dismissed the chance of a possibility at an at-large bid?
Yeah, for now. again, it's about Thursday. If we can have success, we can have success again. And maybe we readdress some things. But right now, we're worried about winning game one in the Conference USA tournament.
How much is this tournament a defining moment for your program, given you guys the last couple of years had a young team, now you're an experienced team? So would you say this is a defining or turning point for the program?
Oh, I'm not sure. I mean, having the opportunity to share back-to-back championships was pretty defining for us. You know, the next step, of course, for this program is to find a way into the NCAA tournament. So it could be a defining moment. You know, it's definitely a defining opportunity, you know, for this crew. And we know what's at stake. You know, our guys are really hungry. Again, Saturday we had a terrific practice, and I expect to have another one here in an hour. And I expect us Thursday night to play extremely hard. That's what this crew has sold out to doing over the past, I don't know, 5 games since Old Dominion on the road. I feel like we've really played with our identity and defended at a really high level. And in addition, when we're in a decent rhythm offensively, we're pretty good. And if we can maintain that identity Thursday night, it might provide us, you know, the opportunity to continue to build this program.
I asked Chris Friday what he had done to improve his game really in the last few games. He said he's been spending a lot of time in the gym. Is that what you've noticed, that it's really improved his game?
Yeah, it really started with Chris last spring. He probably had the best spring of anyone on the team, and we were pretty vocal with the guys about that, in that Chris would come in and he'd be here early and he'd leave late. And when we were going through, we did a lot of individual development, a lot of skill development in the off season, as all teams do. And you know, certain guys go through skill development and they think they're going 100%. You know, Chris was going 100% every single day, and he made a big jump in his game, and it carried over to you know, the workouts in the summer, and really since last spring he's played at a different level. The first half of this season, I just feel like he had a lot of games where he was in foul trouble. You know, he's finally made the mental adjustment. He's making great decisions defensively that allow him to play prolonged minutes. And with that, you know, we've been able to call his number a bunch offensively. He's a mismatch at times for us, and he's been able to showcase his natural abilities, especially offensively. He's a really good player for us.
In a lot of ways, Charlotte is like UAB, that they kind of, not only on the court, but they, for whatever reason, they can play against Michigan and Kansas State and beat them, and then lose to teams, just scratch your head a little bit. Like UAB, when we talked last week or 2 weeks ago, do you have to prepare as if they're the same exact team that beat Michigan and Kansas State, and not the same team that lost to whoever they lost to?
Definitely. With both of those teams, we'll prepare as if they're as talented and as good as anyone in our league when they're playing well. You know, that was our mindset going into Birmingham. It was our mindset in trying to defend our home court against Charlotte, that these guys have better wins than really most teams on our schedule, anyone on our schedule. They're both, I guess, outside of the couple Big 12 schools, but they're both extremely capable. Either Charlotte or UAB could win this tournament. I really believe that. So we prepare for everyone's best, but you know, especially these two teams. It's the 8-9, correct, Kane? The 8-9 just shows you how strong this league is. Those guys being as good as they are, being the 8-9 seeds, it's pretty incredible.
How much do you watch the other games when you're there? I know you're preparing for your game and work focusing on your team, but how much does it help you to watch the other games while it's going on?
Oh, I guess if we were fortunate enough to advance, it would help, you know, in that case. But on Wednesday, we'll watch one game. We'll watch one game and be as locked in as we can be. We'll need every advantage we can get to hopefully give ourselves a chance to win a really big one for us.